So a bit of background here. Since 2018, my favorite artist has been Aries. And if you know who Jane Remover is, you probably know who Aries is, though I'm not too sure. And one of my other favorite artists since probably 2021, though I knew of him before then, but he wasn't my favorite, was deadAir, and is deadAir. They're probably in my top three. The other one is Breakins. Definitely Breakins is the other one in my top three. So deadAir and Aries are both on record essentially saying that Jane Remover is their favorite artist, or like very, very up there. So essentially, Jane Remover is my favorite artist's favorite artist. So how could I not give her a go? I have to. I feel an obligation and a deep need. So that's what I did. And the first project from Jane that I listened to was one called Census Designated, and that was a very distorted rock album is how I would maybe describe it. And that wasn't, I don't know if that was for me, I wouldn't say that's my cup of tea. But then I saw Aries post Instagram post with one of her newer songs called Dream Flasher, and then I saved that to my playlist because I liked it, and I was listening to that shit nonstop for a month or two. It was my favorite song. And so I saw that Dream Flasher was on an album called Revengeseekerz, and to be honest, the cover art for the album is one of the sickest fucking cover arts I've ever seen. It's Jane kneeling down with a fucking sword and there's fire everywhere. It's dope. So that piqued my interest. And also the way that the Revengeseekerz was spelled for some reason kind of piqued my interest. And so I decided to listen to the whole album. Decided to give Jane another chance. And boy, am I glad I did. Because it is very intriguing music. And the reason why I titled the video how I titled it, this video, is that I was very involved in the early 2020s Soundcloud scene. It was a bit of a renaissance of sonic developments, a whole habitat and ecosystem of people trying new things and experimenting. It was incredibly inspiring, and a lot of people view the SoundCloud era as having died in like 2019. And perhaps what it was did die. It definitely has changed, but SoundCloud is very much alive, like in terms of the artists who post on there and the sounds that are being tried out. It is still an incredibly inspiring place. And for some reason, this Jane Remover album, Revengeseekerz, which is not necessarily new, I just recently listened to it, it reminds me of the time that I spent meeting artists on SoundCloud and listening to new people all the time, looking for people to collaborate with, and trying to find my way in music back then. It reminds me heavily of that. It's like the panopticon. I don't know if panopticon is the right word. I'm using a lot of big words right now. I don't know why. But it's like the upper echelon of that. It's like the final boss, the final evolution of SoundCloud rap and SoundCloud music. This isn't necessarily a rap album. It's just SoundCloud rap is the term that's usually used. Because Jane adopts a lot of the character traits of SoundCloud music. There's deep, boomy, distorted 808s there's trap drums, there's heavily auto-tuned vocals, but at the same time, there's new shit. She's introducing new shit. I believe a lot of these songs are self-produced, for one thing. I always am biased toward either artists who are self-produced or artists who had a hand in the production. I always enjoy that more. I often feel like it forces the artist to come up with their own... It forces the artist to come up with their own sound. And it forces them to find their way, as opposed to an artist who uses pre-made beats. An artist like that can kind of ride the beat and make something that fits. And when you're making your own instrumentals, you kind of have to make some magic happen. You have to think shit into existence. And now, that is not me saying that an artist who does not self-produce is not talented. There are artists I absolutely love who do not self-produce. I believe Gunner is one of them. I love Gunner. I love Lil Baby. I love Lil Uzi Vert. I love Trippie Redd. I love more in love with old Trippie Redd. Juice WRLD. Fucking... The list goes on and on. And when I said Gunner, by the way, I did not mean Gunna. I meant Gunner. The two different people. So Jane is self-produced, which I already love. I believe she's mostly self-produced. And she's using so many interesting sounds. I'm really big on sound design and sound selection and using unique sounds in the production. There's one specific moment that stands out above all the rest which song was it? Fuck. I think it was a Turn Up or Die. And there's this like eerie, ghostly synthesizer that's going I'm butchering it hardly, very hard, but it's like this spooky synthesizer that belongs in a Halloween movie, but for some reason it's just there. I love shit like that. That's just one example, by the way. And this is not just a melodic rap album, if it even is that at all. It incorporates some blends of house music, EDM music, hip-hop, what else? There's a jerk song in there. There's hyperpop influences. It's an incredible cocktail of inspirations. And the vocals are very unapologetic in the sense that she's not trying too hard. She's just, you can tell that she's not trying to please anyone. And I like that a lot. She uses layered vocals she prefers them, it seems, and that's something I very much enjoy. There's a lot of different emotions on this song. Probably the primary would be just pure, raw intensity and energetic fervor, so to speak. God, I sound like fucking Anthony Fantano right now. My goal going into this video was to not sound like Anthony Fantano. Though I do love Anthony Fantano. I do think he can be kind of a douchebag sometimes, but he's really funny sometimes too, and very supportive of artists, even if he doesn't like them. But Jane gets very creative on this album, and she has... I kind of like when artists aren't too literal in their songs, lyrics-wise. I like when they leave a little bit up to interpretation. That's why I love Aries and Quedeca so much, and Break-Ins. And Jane does the same thing. I love how she's not too... She keeps things broad a little bit. I like that. fuck, I just missed my, wait, did I miss my turn? Yeah, I missed my turn. I missed my fucking turn. Oh, fuck. And before we proceed, I'd like to discuss how Danny Brown will slide on fucking any song. He doesn't give a fuck what kind of song it is, what genre, who made it. I'm convinced that he just reads every single one of his emails. And he's like the fucking Nicolas Cage of fucking hip hop, dude. Does everything. I'm being facetious. He's not, I wouldn't consider him the same realm of talent as Nicolas Cage. He's an incredibly talented artist. I actually commend him for being able to do so many different things, so many different types of projects, and do them justice, because this album, the second song, I believe, has a Danny Brown feature, and it's a fucking house song, an EDM song. And how the fuck do you expect Danny Brown to hop on an EDM song? And he does it. And he's just fucking rapping on it. Like he would if it was a fucking JPEG Mafia collab. He's rapping on a house song. He doesn't give a fuck. I can't even open my fucking window to my goddamn car because it blows my hair to the side and makes me look like if Adolf fucking Hitler was the bass player for Falling in Reverse. So I liked pretty much every song on this album with only a couple exceptions. So I'm not gonna give you my favorites because it's like most of the whole album, but I'll maybe give you a top 3. Definitely in the top 3 is Dream Flasher. That shit is hype as fuck. I would play that at a party. I would play it in the car. I did play it in the car today if I'm trying to hype myself up. Next up is a song called Fade Outs. It's deeply emotional. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what any of these songs are about for the most part, because I'm not really a big meaning of the song guy. I'm more focused on how the song sounds and how I do like think about the words, but it's more about how the words make me feel rather than what they mean. And same goes for the instruments used and the sounds used. But Fade Outs is a deeply emotional song with so much intense charm to it. Definitely listen to that song if you're gonna listen to those two if you're gonna listen to any. I don't know if I would call Fade Outs deeply emotional, but it's melodically beautiful. And what's my next? Oh, and then the last in my top 3 would probably have to be Dancing with Your Eyes Closed. I believe this is Jane's most popular song, and it would be for a reason. The production is beautifully, I'm saying the word beautiful a lot. It is so grandiose, yet such an earworm. It is kind of cute, but also it has substance. And I love the vocals on it. I love the layers and the depth that this song has. So if you're gonna listen to 3 songs on the album, listen to Dream Flasher, Fade Outs, and Dancing with Your Eyes Closed. Gas. I think that's about all I have to say. The only complaints I would have for this album are that sometimes I think Jane gets a little too careless with the songwriting and the vocals, the performance of the vocals. A few songs I don't like. Not a huge fan of the song Twice Removed, which is a shame because it's the first song on the album, so it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth before everything begins. And I guess I just feel like there could have been more effort put into the songwriting and the vocals there. I didn't feel a connection to it. And there might have been a lot of effort put into the vocals and the songwriting. It could just be, bro, shut the fuck up. It might just not be for me. It might just not be my taste. And the same thing maybe goes for the song JR, 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 the closer. And so like the two ends. And then for maybe Angels and Camo, I maybe feel the same. Although Angels and Camo I did save to my playlist. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this project, and I do think I'm now a fan, perhaps a big fan. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to give it a rating. I don't like to give music a rating. I don't like that. I loved this album.